Now on CoastTV News.
Springfest begins. What kind of fun you can expect at the Ocean City Inlet now until Sunday. Air quality alert, hazy skies, and a high pollen count pose safety risks, what local doctors are advising. And costly confusion, tariffs starting uncertainty, and experts warn of major consequences.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
People kicking off the busy season in Ocean City today. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to Coast TV News at 11. We begin tonight with the opening of Springfest in Ocean City. This is the 34th year of Springfest. It brings hundreds of people to town. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zapay shows us all the fun you can find inside.
Music, foods, vendors, and thousands of people here at the 34th Annual Springfest in Ocean City. And Dave Cornelison and his family are loving every second.
The favorite part is all the different crafters. Of course, my wife loves it. Yes. And my sister-in-law and husband, we always come together.
On Thursday, Springfest opened its doors for free in Ocean City. Inside, you can find hundreds of different and unique items to buy, like wind chimes, jewelry, clothing, and even custom-made fishing rods and pens. Owner George Newberger started works of art after the passing of his uncle, putting his ashes inside his fishing rod, something Newberger now does for others who enjoyed fishing with their loved ones.
So this is my Uncle Joe, and he would take me fishing when I was a kid. Unfortunately, Uncle Joe passed away. But whenever I take this rod fishing, I'm still fishing with my Uncle Joe.
After shopping around, you can enjoy all the savory foods Springfest has to offer, from the classic funnel cake to homemade jelly and jams. After grabbing a bite, it's time to dance your way to one of the two stages in Springfest, one inside and another on the outside. All this fun along the coast has thousands of people wanting to take part, which brings more revenue to Ocean City.
Got to bring in good money. Good for the economy, good for the city. It's a wonderful time.
If you want to check out all the cool things here at Springfest, you still have time, with Springfest having their last day, April 27th on Sunday. I'm Kevin Zapay in Ocean City, Coast TV News.
New tonight, a teenager is accused of starting a wildfire that has scorched more than 15,000 acres in New Jersey. Jason Kling is charged now with arson. Investigators say the 19-year-old set wooden pallets on fire and left the area before the flames were fully out. The Jones Road fire has burned now more than 15,000 acres and resulted in roughly 5,000 evacuations. And for the last 2 days, we have seen that smoke and haze traveling to our area. The combination of that and the high pollen levels is making the air quality moderate. Now, people we spoke with today say their allergies have been bad, and a pulmonologist and critical care doctor from Bay Health says the smoke and pollen are risk factors, especially for people with lung conditions like asthma and COPD.
First thing you have to do, make sure you're taking your maintenance inhalers. If you're already on inhalers, make sure you're doing that. Have your rescue inhaler with you. Make sure it hasn't run out. If it's run out, please contact your doctor and get a refill. And then try to avoid triggers.
And Dr. Mohammed recommends to keep an eye on the air quality index and the pollen count. He says if you need to go outside, wearing a mask is a good idea for the next few days. Now we're going to take a live look outside onto the boardwalk, and our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams joins us now with a check on the weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Christina. And let's go ahead and get to that air quality index, because that's been one of the focal points of what's happening with our forecast, because from atmospheric condition, cosmetically speaking, so to speak, it's been a clear day, but not as far as the air quality is concerned. We've been at moderate level. We were at all greens for the most part. Now we're at yellows of moderate, so the air quality has deteriorated just a little bit for us. Now, as far as how things turned out from earlier today, we actually had some tracking from earlier today. Take a look at the pollen count. We had a high count for the tree, and then mold count was very high. So both are combining for a situation where even I, who don't have allergies, have to clear my throat over and over again. We'll talk about a chance of rain coming up over the weekend. Till then, back to you, Christina.
All right, thank you, Paul. We'll check back in a bit. Well, Worcester County Public Schools made history today, announcing its new leader. Her name is Dr. Annette Wallace, and this afternoon she was named the next superintendent of Worcester County Schools. She is the first female to ever hold the job. Wallace, definitely a veteran though. She has 22 years with Worcester County Schools. Currently, she was serving as its high school level chief safety and academic officer.
I want every student to stay on grade level when it comes to reading and math. And when our students get to high school, I want every student to be college and career ready by grade 10. And then readiness is extremely important to me, but career readiness is equally as important.
And Dr. Wallace is a lifelong resident of Worcester County, and she graduated from Worcester County Public Schools. She replaces Lou Taylor, who's retiring after 41 years with the district. Now moving to Rehoboth Beach, the city is undergoing multiple demolition projects just a few hundred feet away from each other. The former site of Jam Bistro on Baltimore Avenue is being demolished for the proposed Atlantic Crown Hotel. Demolition started just a few days ago. It's still ongoing. Meanwhile, further down the street, the Grottos is also being demolished for the One Rehoboth Avenue Hotel. The city's demolition ban will pause work on May 15th until September.
Ever since they opened, yeah. And we would come to the beach here and eat grotto pizza every week.
And if those demolitions are not complete by May 15th, they will pick back up in September when that demolition ban is over there in Rehoboth Beach. Well, a controversial development is moving forward in Lewis. The preliminary site plan for the proposed Overfall Preserve got approval from City Council today. The site for the proposed 90 townhome neighborhood sits off Savannah Road. Preliminary site plans have it sharing an exit with the nearby Dutchman's Harvest neighborhood. That plan was approved with a list of conditions recommended by the city's planning commission. Neighbors we spoke with had mixed opinions on the approval.
Still think they're going to have to take a look at the traffic flow because it's going to be problematic and it's not going away.
I work part-time at McGee's produce stand, and that'll be more customers there.
Now, the developers of the site say they will perform a traffic operational analysis using DelDOT that will evaluate traffic flow and safety in the area. Also in Lewis, the Clear Space Theater Company has been on Baltimore Avenue in Rehoboth Beach since 2004. Now Clear Space has tried to move, but they've faced opposition from neighbors. Also a drawn-out application process with the city, which resulted in a lawsuit. Now the theater may move out of Rehoboth entirely, and they are considering a space in Lewis. We want to know what you think, though, so we're going to go to our CoastTV poll now. We want to know what you think is the best location for ClearSpace. Let's take a look at the updated results here. 39, we're almost perfectly split here. 39 saying Rehoboth Beach, 39% also saying Lewis. Just a few with Bethany Beach, Georgetown, or elsewhere. But you can still vote. It's not too late. You can change up these results. Just go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Moving to national news tonight, additional tariffs on some U.S. trading partners could be making a comeback. President Donald Trump said Wednesday evening from the Oval Office that such tariffs could hit some countries within 3 weeks. This while he's also saying that he will, quote, make great deals with a number of other countries. As Laura Aguirre reports, an economic expert from Yale says this seesaw approach to policy could cost American consumers thousands of dollars a year.
Most of what you've been seeing is not the direct effect of tariffs affecting markets.
The director of economics at Yale's Budget Lab says what's roiling U.S. markets right now and likely dinging your 401k retirement fund is something much harder to get a handle on.
It's the uncertainty of where tariffs will end up, the fact that businesses and consumers don't know.
Uncertainty can be powerful and costly. The U.S. financial market has shed $6.5 trillion since a record high in February, according to a senior index analyst at S&P Dow Jones Indices. Daily trading sessions tanking or soaring, hinging on every word from the president, like these this afternoon as he hosted the Prime Minister of Norway.
They had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China.
But deal making without details only fuels costly uncertainty.
We estimate that these tariffs to date will cost the average American family $4,900 a year.
Potentially hard news to digest amid other economic reports out today. The Labor Department's advanced figure for initial unemployment claims hit 222,000 for the week ending April 19th, 6,000 over the previous week's revised level. Existing home sales dropped nearly 6% in March from February, says the National Association of Realtors, the weakest March pace since 2009. And the median cost of those homes rose to over $403,000 last month, a March record, says the NAR. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And Chinese officials have denied that they are engaged in direct talks with the United States, calling suggestions otherwise, quote, fake news. And we are just getting started here at 11 tonight. Coming up ahead, new life in Seaford, the first business to set up shop at the new Nylon Capital Center. But first, protecting pets, the gear that local fire crews are now getting thanks to a caring community.
Now, we typically are talking about our forecast for the Bay forecast, but for today we're talking about the DSN Outdoors Expo for Saturday. Listen very carefully. We are expecting a chance of rain for Saturday, but fear not, my friend. Most of the activities will be inside, so come on down and enjoy yourself. Use your umbrella on the way down there.
People love their pets. Many even consider them as part of the family. So when disaster strikes, one neighborhood group wants to make sure first responders have the resources they need to help every member of the household. In this week's Coastal Connections, we introduce you to the animal lovers making that mission possible.
You're a good girl. Very good. We'll do anything for treats, right?
This is Pat Halko and her poodles, Gracie and Candy. Like most pet parents, she spoils them with treats, toys, even what she calls her poodle room. And it's a love that Pat shares with her neighbors, Debbie and Jane, just a few faces from the Peninsula Lakes Animal Lovers Group.
We have donated to Brandywine SPCA, to HAP, and to the ARC, monetary donations.
But their latest initiative goes beyond the basics. They're donating life-saving equipment to local fire companies, pet oxygen masks.
Each kit comes complete. There is actually a set of 3 masks, a large, a small, and a medium. They can be used on various species, as we said, dogs, cats, ferrets, birds. Some people may even have a little pygmy pig in their house or something.
The difference between a pet oxygen mask and a human oxygen mask is simply the shape of it. You can see this is the pet oxygen mask, and a dog or cat or any other kind of pet, their snout could fit in here and the oxygen would obviously come through here. Now, a human mask is more of a triangle shape, and you could fit a human's nose and mouth in it.
You know, it's something that they have if they need it. Obviously, we wouldn't want them to have to, rely on it.
But the Indian River Fire Company has had to rely on them.
Over the last year, we have had 2 instances, one in Millsboro, where there was a pet involved, and they were successful in resuscitating and bringing the dog back to a process. And the second one was also a successful event.
Indian River Fire President Patrick Miller says the masks made all the difference.
I believe they were beneficial. It certainly gives them the ability to have a better quality of air delivery to their lungs and to their body, as opposed to a nasal cannula or another device that we would have to makeshift.
Now, thanks to the Animal Lovers Group, fire departments in Lewis and Millsboro have their own sets after a recent donation and presentation from Pat and the crew.
They are the lifeline for us, and it's important to support them and give them any help that we can.
Helping those who help us and the pets we love so much. For Coastal Connections, I'm Christina D. Robertus.
We are expecting increasing cloud cover going into the rest of the night as we stay in the mid-50s. Our Irish Eyes camera is indicating that for us. We're at 53 in Long Neck, 54 Millsboro, 52 degrees currently in Dagsboro, 52 right now in Gumboro. The winds right now pushing out of the southeast, ranging at about, let's say, up to 10-mile-per-hour gusts. So it's not a big deal right now. The biggest deal is just trying to breathe. For example, we started tracking the smoke from earlier and we can see that it moved throughout portions of the afternoon and then cleared out. Now, this is the smoke that's a result of what's been happening in New Jersey from that kid that they arrested, actually, in charge of arson for setting a pallet on fire and then leaving it unattended. And it turned to over 12,000 acres being destroyed. And not only that, but it's now affecting our air quality here. We've gone from good down to moderate. Now, we're not quite at the orange level where it's unhealthy for certain sensitive groups. But for the folks who have chronic breathing problems, we are seeing a bit challenging and heaving that occurs when you're trying to just kind of breathe a little bit. Now, we also have some air quality alerts in effect for a good portion of Maryland, and that also encompasses the northwest corner of the Delmarva Peninsula. But aside from that, it looks like this is going to start to wane for us and break up a little bit, and so we'll get a break. By the way, we're also monitoring what's happening with our drought. Now, we're not in a drought situation throughout most of Sussex, but we do still have abnormally dry to moderate drought for us over by Cambridge at this present time because we had such a chronic lack of precipitation from the previous 6 months. Now, as you take a look at our numbers, we're about a ½ inch in the positive or more than it was scheduled for the month. And as far as the year is concerned, we're 2.5 inches ahead of schedule, okay? So that's been helpful. The next round of rain, Friday going into Saturday, we're looking for widely scattered. It's going from widespread down to widely scattered. The closer we get to Friday and Saturday, it seems like the less the models are indicating we're going to have that chance of rain. But we're still going to have some. 52 for the overnight in Selbyville, 51 in Georgetown, partly to mostly cloudy skies. So Friday, excellent, mild increasing, clouds late. Weekend, Saturday, scattered showers once again. Not really all that heavy for an extended period of time. One other reason why things have been tough breathing, the tree pollens have been high and the mold very high, skyrocketing levels with the mold. But let's take a look at the details with the trees. Now, there are 4 trees that mainly affect us here on the Delmarva Peninsula. They are oak, ash, birch, and maple. All 4 are flying high, okay? So there are high levels there. Now, as far as highs are concerned for tomorrow, 79 in Seaford for the high, 75 in Cambridge for the high, winds out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and 68 for the high in Ocean City. Once again, depends on where you are and how close you are to the water. Winds are out of the south for Saturday, and then we'll see scattered showers pull through real quickly. I mean, very quickly. We may see some isolated cells become intense, but it's becoming more schizophrenic as we run these models. And now the model's indicating we may get as much as 1 3/4 to close to 2 inches of rain throughout the central portions of the county. So that's something to keep in mind as we get ready for much warmer air from Sunday, Monday going into Tuesday. So 50 for tonight, 78 for tomorrow, and 78 for Saturday with a chance of scattered showers. Here's a look at your extended forecast.
Okay, thanks again, Paul. Well, a once run-down shopping center is coming back to life, one business at a time here in Sussex County. Community Bank Delaware has now opened a new Seaford branch at the Nylon Capital Center. It's the first tenant to move in and operate there. The rest of the center is still a work in progress as crews work to clear debris and restore buildings. But Seaford officials say it's still on track to be completed next year.
We're glad to have Community Bank be part of our community, but we're even more excited to see this first tenant actually here. I mean, as we know, the project itself, since the announcement, has taken some time, but that's with anything, all the processes, the procedures, permits, all the stuff that you just don't see anything happening.
City officials say a behavioral therapy center for children with autism is next on the list to move in and open in that Seaford shopping center. Now to Dover. As downtown Dover prepares for major revitalization projects, city leaders are focusing on supporting the businesses that are already in place. Officials are considering a relief fund to help businesses manage rising utility costs. The proposed fund, capped at $75,000, would provide utility credits to businesses affected by the construction.
The idea behind this is not to overburden and possibly lose the businesses that we have in order to try to gain more.
And this proposal heads to the floor to be discussed and voted on by the whole City Council on Tuesday. Well, a high-tech Department of Defense test will launch from the Wallops Flight Facility in Accomack County. Rocket Lab announced that it has been picked to launch a hypersonic flight, which is 5 times faster than the speed of sound. It's part of a program designed to expand tests for hypersonic technologies for the U.S. The rocket launch is scheduled for next year from the Wallops Flight Facility on Virginia's Eastern Shore. Coming up this Friday and Saturday, head on over to the Harrington Fairgrounds. It's the DSN Outdoors Expo. It's a free, family-friendly event. On Friday, you can go from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Saturday, it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Outdoors Expo is your one-stop shop for everything outdoor. And speaking of DSN, coming up in sports tonight, the Orioles salvaged the series finale in the Battle of the Beltway. See who stood out in Baltimore's 10th win of the year. And coming up, air pollution is on the rise, how it could be impacting your health and what you can do about it.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Tens of millions of new measles cases are predicted in the future if vaccination rates continue to decline in the United States. That's according to a new study published Thursday. It found that at current vaccination rates, the disease could become an epidemic in the U.S. within 25 years, with up to 51 million new cases. So far this year, nearly 900 measles cases have been recorded in the U.S. Data from state health departments and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention shows more than half of states have reported at least one case. And nearly half of Americans live in an area with a failing grade for air pollution. That's according to a new report from the American Lung Association. What we breathe, it can raise the risk of several health problems, and it not only affects your lungs, but also your heart. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to keep your body healthy despite the quality of air around you.
In the U.S., around 156 million people are living around unhealthy air, according to a new report using the latest air quality data from 2021 to 2023. That's about 25 million more than last year's report.
It appears that unless we make some significant changes or have some significant technological leaps, our air quality is probably headed more for the worse.
Exposure to particle pollution not only affects lungs, the World Health Organization says exposure can also raise risk of health problems like certain cancers, stroke, asthma, preterm births, dementia, depression, and anxiety. There's also a significant impact on your heart, says cardiologist Dr. Andrew Freeman with National Jewish Health.
It creates inflammation. It's associated with atherosclerosis or coronary disease, and it can increase event rates. And so we're starting to really pay attention.
To keep bodies as healthy as possible in poor air quality, Freeman says to change air filters frequently to remove irritants from the air. Properly ventilate your living space. Monitor ozone levels. You may want to avoid times when they peak. Stay indoors if possible on days when the air quality is poor, especially if you have a chronic heart or lung condition. Andy says to prioritize your health.
Exercising, eating mostly plants, sleeping enough, getting rid of stress, connecting with others. We are social beings, and there's significant outcomes data about how that impacts cardiac health.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Yeah, thrilling finish over at Lake Forest High School in softball today. Let's head right to the 8th inning. Runners on first and third for the Golden Knights. Emma Jackson at the dish. She's going to ground one over to third. Lake's coming home with it. Chloe Ravel with the tag, but it's not in time, and Central takes the lead 4-3. 2 outs now. Runners on the corners. Yet again, this is Akira Copes. She's going to ground one over to second. Spartans sweep it up. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Can Lake Forest stay unbeaten in softball? It's the Delaware commit Bailey Glandon at the plate. Bases juiced. Already hit a home run once in this game, but she's got some grand ideas. How about a walk-off grand slam in Felton? The perfect season. It is alive and well as Lake wins it 7-4. Over in Washington, the Orioles salvage a game from the Nationals in the Battle of the Beltway. Kate Povich posted one of Baltimore's best starts of the season tonight. The O starter threw 6 2/3 of one-run ball. Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins both drove in a run in the win. Baltimore continues its road trip with a 3-game set against the Tigers this weekend in Detroit. Meanwhile, the Nats continue their homestand against the Mets tomorrow. And the NFL draft is still in progress on ESPN, so make sure you tune back in tomorrow morning for more on the Ravens, Commanders, and the Eagles' first-round selections. That it for sports. Have a great night, everybody.
Well, about 20 years ago, history was made. The very first YouTube video was uploaded. It was called Me at the Zoo. The 19-second clip featured YouTube co-founder Javid Kamir in front of an elephant exhibit. He was 25 years old at the time. YouTube was a very fast success. Just 18 months later, it would be sold to Google for $1.65 billion. Google doesn't share how many videos are on YouTube, but estimates range from about 3 or 4 billion up to 14 billion.
And one, I just posted one. Okay, anyway, so Bay Health Camera in Dover, 58 degrees. Of course, I'm posting about prostate cancer awareness. Anyway, 54 degrees for us by 3 o'clock. Our umbrella giveaway winner is actually Anthony Baker of Millville. Congratulations. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. It's sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mendoza, and Federico. Now, before we go to the 10-day forecast, I want to remind you about our DSN Outdoors Expo. For Friday, we're not worried about the rain. Temperatures will be in the 70s, and we're going to be there. So enjoy that. Now we can chime in with the bells with our 10-day forecast.
All right, thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. For more local news and local weather, head to our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's up next, and we'll see you back tomorrow for Coast TV News Today at 5 a.m. Have a great night.